The underwater UFO is one of the most unsettling ocean discoveries in GTA 5. It's not tied to a mission or a collectible, and the game never brings it up directly. But if you head deep into the waters off the coast of Paleto Bay, you'll find it. An FIB-branded flying saucer, cracked open and resting at the bottom of the ocean. It's massive, silent, and just far enough from land that you'd never run into it by accident. There's no noise, no lights, and no explanation. It's just there, like it was dropped and left to rot. On September 17, 2013, players who completed the main story and unlocked the submersible started diving and found the wreck. Around that same time, the in-game radio begins mentioning a military UFO crash somewhere off the coast. At first, people thought it was just background chatter, but once the wreck was located, it became one of the most talked about secrets in the game. What makes it even more interesting is how it ties into everything else. The location fits the alien symbols found across Mount Chiliad. It connects to Omega's space collectibles, and it's been linked to the larger Chiliad mural mystery. Some players believe it's the same ship that appears above the mountain after 100% completion, while others see it as a separate crash that happened long before the events of the game. Either way, Rockstar never confirms it, which is exactly what keeps the theories alive. Even after you've finished every story, side mission, and collectible, that UFO is still sitting there. It doesn't move, it doesn't trigger anything, and it doesn't need to. It's one of the few things in GTA 5 that feels like it's hiding something bigger, and that's what makes it so hard to forget. The sunken military wrecks are one of the most quietly placed ocean mysteries in GTA 5. They aren't linked to any heist, they don't show up in dialogue, and the game never tells you they exist. But if you head out into the deeper waters west of the map, you'll find them. One is a massive nuclear submarine, ripped open across the ocean floor. The others are two cargo freighters, cracked apart and surrounded by loose containers drifting along the seabed. They've been in the game since GTA 5 launched on September 17, 2013, though most players didn't spot them right away. People started finding them while exploring offshore in story mode or GTA Online, usually after wandering far past the usual dive spots. They aren't connected to any mission, and no update has ever mentioned them. What makes them stand out is how carefully they're placed. Each wreck is fully modeled, detailed up close, and tucked far enough from the main map areas that you wouldn't stumble into them unless you were really looking. The submarine doesn't match the one used in the Doomsday heist, and the freighters don't appear in the campaign either, which leaves people wondering what they were meant for. Some think they're leftovers from cut content, while others take them as a quiet sign that there's more to the ocean than Rockstar lets on. They serve no gameplay purpose, but the models are too polished and too well positioned to be random. It feels like they were designed to be discovered slowly, maybe as part of something that never got finished, or just a hint at what's been buried off the coast. The oceanic hatch is one of GTA 5's most unusual underwater secrets. It doesn't show up on the map, it's never mentioned by any character, and the game doesn't give you a reason to find it. But if you dive just off the coast near the San Kyansky mountain range, you'll come across it. Sitting on the seabed is a round steel hatch, sealed shut, with a faint glow that switches on when you get close. It looks mechanical, heavy, and completely out of place. It's been there since 2013, and when players first discovered it, they immediately compared it to the hatch from the TV show Lost. The similarities stand out right away. It has the same kind of valve structure hidden far out in the ocean, and it lights up for no clear reason. You can't open it, and it doesn't trigger anything, but if you hover near it long enough, you'll hear a short series of clicking sounds. That audio turned out to be tap code. The message says, "Hey, you never call. How do you fancy going bowling?" A direct nod to Nico Bellic's cousin Roman. That's the only response you get. There's no mission, no follow-up, and no clue why it's there. Some players think it ties into the Mount Chiliad mural, while others say it's just an Easter egg meant to spark theories, though Rockstar has never confirmed anything the mystery. The crashed Merryweather plane is one of the few underwater locations in GTA 5 that's directly connected to the story. It comes from the mission Minor Turbulence, where Trevor boards a military cargo jet mid-flight, takes control, and ends up getting shot down by fighter jets somewhere over Blaine County. The mission fades out before the crash happens, so most players don't think much about where the plane actually went. But if you explore the Alamo Sea after completing it, there's something waiting beneath the surface. It's been there since GTA 5 launched in 2013, and players who went diving near the northeast part of the sea, just past Stab City, eventually found the remains of the aircraft. Large chunks of the frame are lying across the ocean floor, with broken shipping containers and scattered wreckage spread around the area. What makes this one stand out is how closely it ties back to the mission. The model matches the cargo plane used during the cutscene, the location fits the direction the crash was heading, and if you check the site carefully, you'll even find a few weapons nearby, including grenades and a sniper rifle. There's no mission marker, no collectible, and no dialogue that brings it up again, but it's clearly placed there for anyone who kept wondering what happened after the mission was cut away. As you move through the crash site, every part of it reflects how the mission ended. The cargo plane's fuselage is torn open across the seabed, with large shipping containers scattered in a wide arc around it. Some are still intact, while others have broken apart, spilling debris along the ocean floor. The weapons nearby, like grenades and a sniper rifle, match what you'd expect from a downed military transport, and their placement lines up with how the cargo would have been stored. Nothing is highlighted or marked, but it's all laid out in a way that matches the scene's direction, giving the wreckage a clear and consistent link to what happened in the story mission, Minor Turbulence. The whale skeleton is one of the most quietly disturbing things you can find beneath the surface in GTA 5. It isn't tied to a mission, it doesn't come with any collectible, and nobody ever mentions it. But if you dive far enough into the Pacific, there's a point where the seafloor drops away and you'll see it. Resting on the sand is a massive skeleton that looks like it belonged to a blue whale, with an exposed spine, a broken rib cage, and parts of the skull still intact. It doesn't move, and there's no hint that it was placed just for scenery. It sits there like something was left behind and never touched again. It's been in the game since 2013, and players eventually started finding it while exploring the deep sea areas northwest of Paleto Bay. It's not marked on the map, and there's nothing nearby, but the way it's placed makes it feel like Rockstar wanted it to be discovered by players willing to go looking. What makes it strange isn't just the size, but how realistic it looks. The bones are stretched out across the seabed and shaped exactly how a real blue whale would decompose underwater. Some players have pointed out that the skeleton looks too clean to be ancient, which has led to theories about whether it washed in recently or if it's meant to suggest something even larger is still out there. Because of that, the skeleton ends up feeling more like a hidden environmental object than an Easter egg. The clean arrangement of its spine and ribcage, combined with how deep it's placed, suggests it was meant to be discovered by players willing to explore. There's no marker, no sound, and no mission tied to it, but it's fully modeled and resting in a spot that's just out of easy reach. The Bermuda Triangle waters are one of the most talked about ocean mysteries in GTA 5. They're found far off the eastern edge of the map, in a part of the ocean the game never sends you to. There are no missions out there, no collectibles, and nothing marked on the radar. But if you keep going that way in a plane or a boat, things start to go wrong. Engines suddenly fail, controls stop responding, and sometimes your vehicle just disappears without any warning at all. This has been happening since GTA 5 first released in 2013. Players who drifted too far out noticed the same pattern. Planes dropping out of the sky, boats freezing in place, or sinking without taking any damage. It doesn't seem tied to any specific time of day or weather condition. Whether the sea is calm or rough, whether you're flying high or barely above the waves, it happens the same way. And it didn't go away after patches or updates. Over time, players started calling it GTA's version of the Bermuda Triangle because there was never any explanation for it. What really makes it stand out is how random it can be. Sometimes vehicles fail right as you cross the invisible line, shutting off without any sign something is about to happen. Other times you pass through, and the game never mentions it, never gives any hint that there's something out there. There's no map marker, no cutscene, and no dialogue. Some players think it's Rockstar's way of stopping people from flying too far and breaking the game world. Others think it's just another one of the strange leftovers buried in the ocean, left for players to find on their own. Over the years, players have tried testing every variable, including weather conditions, time of day, and specific coordinates, but nothing changes the outcome. Data miners haven't found any hidden triggers, scripts, or models linked to this area. It functions the same way across all versions of the game, pointing to the idea that the disappearing vehicles and engine failures are part of the boundary system, not some deeper secret tied to the Bermuda Triangle myth. And across every test, the results stay the same. The sunken UFO wreckage near Procopio Beach is one of the strangest ocean finds in GTA 5, and it's completely separate from the intact UFOs sitting deep off Paleto Bay. You'll find this one much closer to shore, resting on the ocean floor northwest of Procopio Promenade. It's not marked on the map, and the game never brings it up, but if you take a sub or dive out far enough, you'll see the wreckage scattered across the sand. This wreck has been around since GTA 5 came out in 2013, though it may have been present earlier. Players discovered it while searching the northern waters for hidden details. Unlike the Paleto Bay UFO, which looks clean and almost untouched, this one is damaged and broken apart. There are pieces missing, jagged edges along the hull, and big gaps showing its interior. And even though some people expected it to be part of a mission or collectible, there's nothing tied to it. No dialogue, no hints in the files, and no character who ever mentions it. What really makes this wreck stand out is how normal it looks. It doesn't glow or float, and there's no strange noise coming from it. It just sits out there, quiet, like it's been lying on the ocean floor for years. Also, the wreck has been in the game since it came out, sitting near Procopio Beach with parts of the hull torn open and pieces spread around the sand. It stays exactly the same in every version, placed out in the ocean as part of the map, with no coded purpose or deeper tie to anything else. The sunken submersible is one of those ocean details in GTA 5 that most players miss unless they're really looking. It sits deep underwater off the coast of the Pacific, southwest of Pacific Bluffs. The game doesn't mention it, there's no collectible tied to it, and no character brings it up. But if you take the time to explore the deeper parts of the sea, you'll come across it. Lying on its side, with parts of the hull split open, it looks like it's been there for years, rusting away on the ocean floor. It's been in the game since 2013, and players started finding it while using the submersible you unlock during the story. Some first spotted it while exploring the ocean floor, noticing the faint shape of another sub broken and abandoned. What makes it strange is how intact it still looks from a distance. As you get closer, you can see the hull damage, the bent propellers, and the cracked glass on the front viewport. But the body itself is still clearly recognizable, almost like it was placed there on purpose. There's no official explanation in the game files or story about where this sub came from or why it sank. Some people think it might have been linked to Trevor's smuggling operations early in development, while others say it's just environmental set dressing. Honestly, Rockstar never explained it, which only adds to the feeling that there's more happening in the ocean than the story lets on. Unlike the other wrecks, this sub isn't tied to alien theories or giant sea creatures. It just sits there, quiet and almost forgotten, while you pass by exploring for yourself. What also stands out is how close it is to ocean debris. Not far from the sub, you can find an arrangement of underwater pipes and broken wreckage bits, making the area feel like a graveyard of discarded projects. While there's nothing to collect or trigger around it, the detail is still impressive. From the scratches on the hull to the way it casts a shadow over the sand, it feels like it was built to be found by players willing to look past the obvious. In the years since release, players have checked the submersible and the area around it, but nothing has changed or revealed anything new. It isn't linked to any mission, cutscene, or objective, and there are no references to it in the game files connected to the story. Everything remains static, placed on the ocean floor without any coded purpose. The Kraken myth is one of the oldest and most famous ocean stories in GTA 5. It started circulating not long after the game launched in 2013, mostly because of how empty and eerie the ocean feels once you start exploring. Unlike the sharks and whales you can find swimming through deeper waters, the Kraken has never been confirmed in any official source or shown anywhere in the files. But that hasn't stopped people from searching. By 2014, players began sharing videos and screenshots that seemed to show something huge lurking beneath the waves. Some claim they saw giant tentacles slipping past the submersible in the dark, while others reported low rumbling noises that didn't match any known sea creature. And as rumors spread, people pointed to everything as possible proof. Shadows in the distance, strange bumps on the sonar, even blurry shapes just out of reach. But every single clip and story turned out to be either fake, the result of glitches, or just regular ocean creatures behaving unpredictably. Still, the myth never really died. Some players thought Rockstar left hints through the Kraken submersible, which you unlock by completing the wildlife photography challenge. But honestly, that name doesn't connect to any giant creature. There's no mission, no hidden fight, and nothing in the code showing the Kraken exists. Every supposed sighting has been explained by random ocean spawns, reflections, or the way the game handles water physics. Over time, players checked every part of the ocean. There's no mission, hidden object, or model tied to a Kraken anywhere in the game data. The submersible called Kraken is just a vehicle you unlock through the wildlife photography challenge, with no link to any large creature. Reports came from shadows, ocean animals, or reflections. Even after years of diving and searching the files, there's nothing in the game showing a giant sea monster. The Vice City sea monster is one of those ocean legends that carried over into GTA 5, even though it started way back in 2002 when Vice City first came out. Back then, players claimed they saw something massive moving under the waves, posting blurry screenshots and quick stories on forums. But none of those sightings were ever proven, and the myth stayed alive mostly through players retelling the same stories over the years. When GTA 5 released in 2013, those old rumors started showing up again. Players diving around the eastern side of the map said they spotted huge dark shapes moving below them. Some swore they heard strange, low sounds that didn't match sharks or whales. And because the ocean in GTA 5 already feels empty and unsettling, it was easy for those stories to spread. People pointed to shadows, odd sonar blips, and even the strange bumps and noises you sometimes hear underwater, saying it had to mean something was out there. But after years of searching, nobody's ever found solid proof. There's no hidden model of a sea monster in the game's files, no mission or dialogue that mentions one, and no evidence in the code of anything bigger than the known sea animals. Every shadow and strange noise has turned out to be just random wildlife spawns, lighting glitches, or the way the game handles reflections and water physics. Still, what keeps the myth alive is how the ocean feels in GTA 5. It's wide open and dark, with shipwrecks, whale skeletons, and enough empty space that your mind starts to fill in the gaps. And since the original Vice City sea monster rumor never really went away, people kept watching the water, hoping there was more Rockstar hadn't shown yet. The Bikini Bottom Easter egg in GTA San Andreas has been one of the strangest and most debated ocean myths for years. It's one of those rumors that stuck around not because of proof, but because of how mysterious and unexplored the ocean felt in the game. San Andreas was massive for its time, full of cities, forests, deserts, and deep, eerie oceans, so it wasn't hard for players to believe that Rockstar might have hidden something strange beneath the waves. Even without solid evidence, the myth lived on through fan speculation, old forum discussions, and the unsettling emptiness of the sea itself. It all began in 2004 when the game first released. Players claimed that if you dove deep enough into certain parts of the ocean, you could find a hidden underwater town with structures that looked like they were taken straight out of SpongeBob SquarePants. Some said they saw pineapple-shaped houses, odd rock formations, and even tiny colored figures moving across the seabed. Many rumors began popping up with blurry screenshots and vague videos showing underwater shapes that vaguely resembled the show's setting. and soon players were searching every corner of the map, diving into random offshore spots in hopes of finding proof of the so-called Bikini Bottom hidden beneath the waves. Over time, though, every supposed discovery turned out to be either a mod, a hoax, or just rocks and coral formations that looked unusual from certain angles. No model or texture in the game files matches SpongeBob's home, or anything else tied to the show, and Rockstar has never acknowledged the existence of a cartoon-themed secret beneath the sea. Once clearer images surfaced and players began data mining the game's code, the rumor quickly fell apart. The underwater world player character myth is one of the weirdest ocean rumors that's floated around GTA San Andreas for years. It started back in 2004, right after the game launched, when players began claiming they saw human-like figures walking or standing at the bottom of the ocean. Some said they spotted random pedestrians just wandering along the seafloor as if nothing was out of place, while others swore they found clusters of people gathered near underwater rock formations. By 2005, forum posts and early videos began to appear showing blurry shapes far below the surface. People pointed out what looked like arms and legs moving slowly in the murk, and a few screenshots claimed to show pedestrians wearing street clothes in places players weren't supposed to reach. And really, because San Andreas was full of hidden corners and strange glitches, players took these stories seriously. Some even tried to track down specific spots on the map where others claimed to have seen these so-called underwater pedestrians. But over time, every supposed sighting turned out to be either a mod, a texture glitch, or just a trick of the light. There's nothing in the game's code that spawns human NPCs underwater, and no mission, cutscene, or hidden file supports the idea of people living beneath the waves. Honestly, most of the screenshots and videos were either faked or the result of broken collision detection, where pedestrians fell through the map and got stuck on the ocean floor. Even so, the myth stuck around, and it's easy to see why. The ocean in San Andreas is empty, quiet, and unsettling. Just the kind of place where you might think you saw something strange out of the corner of your eye. Players kept diving, hoping to spot just one more sign that the underwater world might be more than just sand and fish. In the end, there's no code that allows human NPCs to spawn underwater, and no cutscene, mission, or model points to anything placed beneath the sea. The sightings were either caused by mods, animation bugs, or broken collisions that pushed pedestrians through the map. Most screenshots were unclear, and videos showed nothing consistent. Across every test and file check, the ocean floor remains the same, populated only by coral, rocks, and standard sea life, with no hidden pedestrians anywhere in the game. The City of Atlantis trailer theory is one of the strangest ocean rumors to come out of GTA 5's build-up. Back in 2013, when Rockstar first dropped trailers showing underwater scenes, some players thought they noticed dome-shaped structures hiding in the background. A few claimed they caught glimpses of pillars or archways beneath the waves, and almost immediately, forums filled with talk that Rockstar had secretly built an entire sunken city into the ocean. That same year, once the game launched on September 17th, players started diving around the map, looking for anything that might prove the theory. Videos surfaced showing dark shapes on the seafloor, with people pointing out rough outlines and saying they looked like walls or roof lines. And because GTA 5 was packed with hidden details everywhere else, it made sense at the time that something big could be waiting in the ocean. But every so-called discovery turned out to be just rocks and coral. There were no models, no hidden files, no mission, and nothing in the code hinted at an underwater city. As more players checked and came up empty, the theory faded. Still, the story kept people exploring the ocean, hoping for one last big secret. And while some threads still pop up claiming new evidence, nothing has ever led anywhere. In the end, there's no Atlantis in GTA 5. It was simply just another rumor that sent players searching the ocean long after the game came out. The sunken plane wreck is one of GTA 5's most overlooked ocean discoveries. It sits on the seabed north of Shamash, broken apart with its wings, tail, and scattered debris lying across the sand. The game never guides you there. There's no marker on your map, and you'll only find it by taking the time to search the deep water beyond the usual paths. When GTA 5 released on September 17, 2013, some players started exploring past the main coastline and came across the wreck. They wondered if it was part of an old smuggling route or a hint at something left unfinished, though nothing in the game connects it to any mission or story. What stands out is how complete it looks. The cabin is split open, seats and panels are visible, and you can swim through the frame without any barrier stopping you. There's nothing hidden inside and no reward waiting nearby though. Seeing it makes the ocean feel more than just empty water, and it shows how Rockstar added details that most players wouldn't see unless they were curious enough to look. It doesn't open up any new missions or lead to a bigger secret, but it's still part of the map, staying exactly where it is. The wreck has no linked mission, file reference, or gameplay function. Its cabin stays split open, the seats and panels remain in place, and the debris doesn't move or change. Nothing can be collected or triggered nearby. It's not marked by any objective or dialogue and doesn't connect to other locations in the game. The structure is just part of the ocean floor, north of Chumash, fully modeled but unused, left there with no active role in the story or world events. The Abyss is one of the strangest parts of GTA 5's ocean. It sits far beyond the eastern edge of the map, in deep water where the game never takes you during missions. There's no marker showing the way, and the dialogue never hints at anything waiting out there. But if you keep heading out past the shallow drop, the light fades quickly, and soon there's nothing left but dark water stretching in every direction. After GTA 5 released on September 17, 2013, players began testing how far they could move away from land. Checking every corner of the ocean, they noticed how empty this part of the sea was. There aren't any plants or rocks, and the seafloor falls away so sharply that it turns into a black wall with nothing below. Some people also said they heard faint noises or saw shapes in the distance, though nothing has ever shown up in the game files. And while there's no creature or hidden structure out there, the place still feels tense. It shows how Rockstar built the ocean not just to look big, but to feel cold and silent, as if something might be waiting where the map ends. And over the years, players checked the files and searched the area, but there's no creature, object, or mission linked to the Abyss. The deep water past the drop stays empty in every version of the game. There are no models or code showing anything hidden out there. The seafloor turns into a steep wall with nothing below, while the ocean remains quiet, with no sign of any trigger or secret placed by Rockstar. The Loch Santos monster is the ocean mystery that grabbed more attention than any other hidden detail in GTA Online's Cayo Perico heist. Out of all the strange things players have found, this one really stood out, partly because of how subtle it is, and partly because of how convincing it feels once you see it for yourself. It all starts during the heist prep, gather intel mission. If you take a photo of the sand sculpture behind the beach bar and send it to Pavel, he makes a strange comment saying it looks familiar, though he can't place exactly why. Honestly, that small, offhand line was enough to get players speculating. It felt like a clue, and soon enough, people were combing the shoreline, convinced something was hiding beneath the surface. Sure enough, after the Cayo Perico update dropped on December 15, 2020, sightings started rolling in. Some players reported seeing a long, dark shape moving through the water during the finale escape sequence. Others swore they heard a low growl just before the creature disappeared under the waves. And really, that was all it took to get the community buzzing. A few blurry screenshots popped up showing what looked like a neck and head rising out of the sea, which only fueled the idea that Rockstar had quietly dropped something big into the ocean. Later on, data miners backed up those theories with something more solid. They discovered a texture called LS River Monster 01D, and sound files linked to a creature model. These matched leftover assets from an unused Red Dead Redemption 2 concept about a river monster that never made it into the final game. While Rockstar never officially confirmed the connection, it made a lot of sense, and gave the mystery even more weight. Although the monster acts more like a scripted prop than a real creature, it still leaves an impression. If you try to approach it, it simply dives and vanishes. There's no mission, no collectible, and no reward. Still, the moment feels intentional, and throughout the heist, Pavel makes more than one vague comment suggesting he knows something he's not telling you, which adds just enough suspense to keep players guessing. When all is said and done, the Loch Santos monster doesn't change how you complete the heist, but it adds an eerie charm to the ocean. Just knowing it's out there makes the waters around Cayo Perico feel a little less empty and a lot more alive.